These days, entry-level firearms usually have a starting price of around $300 to $400. Get a gun within this price range, and you are already scoring a deal. But that's not the same thing people say for guns within $200. These are guns that are considered cheap plastic or metal, but that's not always the case. Here are some good exceptions I know of. Hey, this is Scott from Line 45, and today I'm going to give it a shot and name several guns with decently quality that can be bought for $200 or less, regardless of whether they're new or used. I am not saying that these guns can exceed the quality of their more expensive counterparts, but if your limit is just $200 or so, these are possibly the best choices you have. But first, let me do this quick plug. Hit the like and subscribe button. All those buttons you can see below. I know it feels like a hassle, but those simple clicks mean a lot for my channel. Now, let's get back to the good stuff. Maverick 88. For its price, the Maverick 88 is already a decent gun. By all means, this isn't as good as your Mossberg 500 or Remington 700, but it does work, and I think that's the only thing that matters right now. The Maverick 88 is a cheap but reliable 12-gauge pump action. That's one thing I can guarantee you, and I also have to add that it excels in home defense. It could punch walls, so just imagine what it can do with living, breathing flesh. Aside from the fact that it's reliable because it's a pump-action shotgun, Maverick 88 also owes its performance because it uses parts and assembly from Mossberg. The only thing missing on the Maverick 88 so that it can become a Mossberg product is a Mossberg stamp on its receiver. But unlike other Mossberg shotguns, the Maverick 88 doesn't have sling mounts, front bead, or even a wood stock. The entire furniture is made of polymer, while the metal it uses is just blued steel. All it has are the essentials for it to operate, and that's already enough, especially with its bargain pricing. Fortunately, it's a pump-action shotgun, and pump actions are generally reliable, and that's what the Maverick 88 offers. It feeds on various ammo with zero failure, and since it is basically a Mossberg shotgun, it's also compatible with any Mossberg accessories. If you have enough cash in the future, you can just tinker with this firearm to your liking. Rossi RS22. I believe that a 22 LR is the very rifle you should own if you are only allowed to own one. But that's just me. Aside from the price, a 22 LR rifle works and is versatile to some degree. But if you can't afford even a Ruger 1022 for a 22 LR rifle, your next best choice is the Rossi RS22. You can buy it at a price of less than $200, but by all means, its quality and performance aren't cheap. In fact, when it first came out, the RS22 boasted features that even its more expensive rivals didn't have. Time passed, and the RS22 is no longer on the pedestal, but it's still good for its price. It has a synthetic stock that deals with the elements and oil. Its 18-inch barrel is free-floated, and the rest of the design is most likely taken or inspired by the Marlin 60. Take its front sight as an example. It has a bright fiber optic that optimizes its visibility and is sheltered by a detachable hood. The hood is essential as you might toss this gun here and there. The sight isn't that solid, so having a degree of protection is a must. Meanwhile, it has a fully adjustable rear sight, and together with its front sight, you can get quick beads on your targets. By the way, this rifle has a simple blowback action and has a bolt with an extended cocking lever, which is nice. But what's more interesting is that this bolt opens on the last shot, which isn't typical for a low-cost 22 rifle. It also has a 10-round detachable magazine and a 6-pound trigger, which makes the rifle quite useful in various tasks on the field. Heritage Rough Rider. The Rough Rider is not the first gun that will come to your mind, even if we are talking about guns that are within the $200 range. A lot of people consider this as a relic of the past, or a gun fitting for those who want to keep their cowboy spirit alive. I have a lot of experience using the Rough Rider. When I was still young, this was one of the revolvers that I used for practice. Now, I know this particular revolver is no longer as relevant as it used to be, but who said that a 22 LR wheel gun isn't useful for training, plinking, dealing with pests, or scaring potential threats away from your yard? However, I suggest you don't use this as an everyday carry gun. Its size makes it impractical for EDC to begin with. Its entire body stretches to 10 inches long, which is almost the size of a ruler. Technically, it's a 6-shooter revolver, but if you want more firepower, you can actually swap its cylinder for a 22 Magnum. Regardless of your choice, the simplicity of this single-action-only gun makes it effective and reliable in most situations. The trigger is surprisingly predictable. It has an average trigger pull of 3 pounds, which is already nice for a revolver. Construction-wise, the Rough Rider is indeed rough on the edges. I mean, what can you expect from a cheap gun, anyway? But that doesn't mean this thing can't take a beating. The frame of this thing, for instance, is made from alloy metal, while the barrel and hammer are all steel. It features some plastic parts, such as its safety and plunger handle, but I don't see this as a deal-breaker. All you need to know is that the Rough Rider is a reliable handgun, and you get this for a price that's already a steal. Savage Stevens 320. Well, we all know that Chinese-made products are inexpensive, right? The quality of their assembly and the material explains why this is the case. Now, I am telling you this because the Stevens 320 is a Chinese product that is currently being imported by Savage Arms. It's cheap and can be purchased for under $200. Of course, I know that a lot of you here aren't that too keen to use any items, let alone a gun, made in China. But if we disregard that fact, I actually think that a Stevens 320 is a good pump shotgun for its price. This one is based on a Winchester 1300, which is known for its rotating bolt. The Stevens 320 typically features a 28-inch barrel with a choke or an 18.5-inch barrel with a cylinder bore. It's also available in both 12-gauge or 20-gauge models, and either of them has a basic bead front sight. The 28-inch barreled model got my attention, as it has a mod choke, which I think it copied from Browning and Vector. The receiver of the Stevens 320 is also drilled and tapped, which means it accepts scopes, mount, or rail. Its furniture is a black synthetic stock with a stiff rubber butt pad, and as far as I know, this shotgun works with 2 3/4-inch shells and 3-inch shells. In the grand scheme, I regard the Stevens 320 as a reliable yet inexpensive firearm, given that it's a pump-action shotgun. Plus, it can do things that even the Maverick 88 can't. For example, you can extend its magazine tube, which you can't do on your Maverick 88. Another thing is that it's easier to load with the smooth lifter of the Stevens, as compared to the 88's hidden lifter. Hi-Point C9. The Hi-Point C9 is actually made for those people with a really tight budget. The brand got its reputation from making extremely cheap handguns anyway, so it's not a surprise that we got a Hi-Point here. But to be honest, I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to shooting a Hi-Point gun, and most of my runs only involve the C9. You can get a Hi-Point C9 for less than $200. That's how inexpensive this gun is. It's relatively small and one of the smallest guns that the Hi-Point has to offer. But make no mistake, this isn't a subcompact pistol. You see, it has a blowback design which pushes its slide to be large and heavy. In this way, the breech remains closed until the bullet gets out from the barrel. The first time I grabbed a C9, I noticed that its grip wasn't tacky, so I advise that you don't use it in situations where it could get wet. Otherwise, you'll have a hard time shooting the pistol. But it is fair to play Hi-Point for keeping its grip comfortable, and since it's top-heavy, it kinda helps tame the recoil of the pistol. At least, that's how I felt when using the gun. It also holds 8 rounds of 9mm, which is nice, and also includes a ghost ring sight on the rear. The ghost ring sight is such an impressive addition for its price. The 3-dot sight setup is colored, so it's easy to pick them in bright conditions, but once it gets dim, it's difficult to track them. My biggest gripe about the C9 is its trigger. The best way I can describe it is that it's inconsistent. Some feel smooth, while others are gritty. Even the pull doesn't stick to the same demeanor. But hey, this is a cheap gun, so there's no point in complaining about anything. That's it for now. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and notification bell. Just press all the buttons. Those little clicks are free, but they help the channel a lot. Stay sharp, stay safe, and remember, it's not just about the shot, it's about mastering the craft. Until next time, lock and load.